Hey everybody, so Tess asked me for a little sign for Halloween, so that's what we're gonna be working today. So I have here Lightburn and I'm gonna be doing this cut on the Rolly. So let's get to it and see how I arrange everything on Lightburn, what are kind of the settings I'm gonna use, what kind of wood I'm going to be using, and we can go from there. So it's a really simple project, super quick, and all you need is some wood and paint. That's all. So let's get to it. All right, so I'm here in Lightburn. So what I'm gonna do first of all, I'm not connecting right now the laser because it's too much noise on the fan. So what I'm gonna be doing here is I'm gonna open the file first. So I'm gonna import this, and here's my zombie welcome. So I'm just going to change without connecting. I'm just going to change to the laser I'm going to be using, so I have an idea of what I have here. So everything is going to be a cut. So here you go. Everything is basically a cut in here. So I arrange everything first on Illustrator to kind of have it pre-set and pre-ready. So I'm gonna be using the 12 inches round from not just frames. That's gonna be my baseboard where I'm gonna put all this stuff on it. And I'm gonna be using that one specifically because it's nice and thick. It's not just 3 millimeters, so I don't need to stack a lot of stuff on it. I don't need to make a lot of layers. And this is quite simple. It's just a couple colors and the sign itself. So for this specific one, I'm gonna use a, since the baseboard is going to be a little bit thicker than normal 3 millimeters, I'm gonna be using, in this case, I think just the regular 3 millimeters to give this a little raise on top. So all stacked together will be about 5.5 millimeters, which is a really decent thickness. So what I want to do first is I'm gonna make a square here. In that square, I'm gonna change it to tools right away to make sure what I'm having selected. And this square needs to be about 11.9 inches. So what I did on Illustrator to give me a better idea on inches and sizes, so I just make my square in this case, and I set this for 11.9 inches. So once I have this on my Illustrator on 11.9 inches, I change my measurements or my parameters to read the measurements in millimeters. So that's 302.26, but I wanna do 302 millimeters. So I wanna do here 302 and 302. Now, what I'm not doing 12 inches because the wood that I measure is not 12, it's 11.9. So I just want to make sure that it will fit on that specific size of wood. And here we go. It's actually quite tight, but for what I need is just perfect. So the letters itself, I'm not going to use the letters by itself, but there's a couple things that I'm going to need to recover and add it by hand, like the little R here, the apostrophe here, the center of the O, here's another O, the D. I'm gonna need to be careful with these ones, don't lose them, because those are small little pieces that I'm going to add by hand. So now that I have this done, I'm going to select my artwork, and I'm gonna put it like right here on my 0 coordinates. And as you guys know, Rolly Laser, one of the amazing things that you can do with Rolly Laser is use your proper alignment. Your honeycomb is quite well aligned out of the box. You have a real 0 corner to start with. So now I'm using an Rolly, the XW, the extended width, and let me tell you something. This is really nice because first of all the extended machines are extended on Y, so you always try to work kind of a vertical or sideways. In this machine you work just like on a CO2, is wider, that's all. So you can work on your piece straight from the gantry. You don't need to be worrying about many things. So I'm going to use all on the same layer. So I'm going to select all these elements to make sure that everything has the same parameters and I'm not doing nothing crazy. So line is going to be cutting a 9 millimeters per second. Now this specific laser is a 30-watt laser, so it's going to be a little bit faster for me to cut it. So I'm going to actually give this, let's give it a try with a 14. I didn't run a speed test, and that's my mistake. I want to do one pass for now only to see if cut a 3 millimeters ply. It should be fine. I'm gonna guess. This is my first attempt to cut with a 30-watt on the Rolly. So now that I have everything aligned, let me show you some things really quick. The interconnection on the bottom, so these pieces are attached, as you can see here. So if I change everything here, let me do this for you. Let me change these things. Let's see here, and put something solid. That's my other layer. I know I have one solid layer. There you go. So this is basically what I'm looking for. This all is going to be solid in gray, and the letters are going to be a little hole. So what I want to do is I want to paint this part of the letters under, so we have it a nice bright white, and that's going to be paint over the original. Then the top is going to have another background color, and the bottom is going to be another background color probably. So I'm going to paint directly on the main board after I kind of set a placement for everything. So I'm going to try to make this project a little bit easier on me. I don't want to spend a lot of time cutting pieces and gluing pieces, and I don't want to layer it too much because it will make a really heavy door hanger, and I don't want that either. So with no further ado, I'm going to set again this to cut. You see my cut configuration here is quite simple. 14 millimeters per second, max power 100%, is line, one pass. I'm not correcting anything else. This is what I have right now, and let's start my laser. Okay, first thing first, this is the base I'm going to be using. Like you see here is solid wood. It's a really nice piece, and I'm gonna be doing this. And for the rest, I have here, this is my regular 3 millimeters plywood. It's nothing special, and here is 0. So I'm gonna be setting this out around here for the 0, and I need to get some of my honeycomb pins to hold it. So let's start the laser and get the rest going. Remember, always you gotta home the laser, you gotta focus your laser as well, and when you move it, don't be too violent, just put it in place. Rolly uses this thing, and this new mode that I have has 30 and 10 watts. So I'm gonna be cutting this one. So let's fix the focal point here, and you can see, just making sure there, adjust the knob on the side so this doesn't move, it's locked. Let's put it in place. I want to close this lid. And that is ready to start framing and arranging some other stuff. Okay, since I moved the wood to a different location, so I put it by 2, so this will be 20, so this is the base, and then here is this intersection will be where I want it. So we go here. This is a 20, and here is my 20. So sort of there should be where my wood is starting. So now I want to make sure that Rolly is connected. So I want to select here column number 7. That usually is my Rolly. There it is. Okay, so the alignment seems like it's fine there. I kind of got into a really good placement. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna move this, and I notice that the graphic is a little bit too high, so I wanna push it just a little bit. So I wanna make sure that goes now. And before doing anything, I'm gonna go to the move tab, and you see the speed here say 10. I want to change the speed to 100. That was the speed for framing. So we are gonna frame again. Here we go, framing it one more time. That's inside the wood. That goes also inside. That's right on the edge, and it's going down. Alright, the alignment is perfect, so now we are going to start the job. Alright, this is almost done. So I'm gonna pick up all these parts and take them to the shop so I can paint and assemble. See you later. Okay, so what I have here is the same wood that I'm going to use for the backing, and I just tape it. So this blue is dividing the color that I'm gonna put on the bottom, and then it's gonna be another color here on the top, including this part. So from this line top is gonna be all white, from here down, it's gonna be all white, grayish, and from here down is going to be orange, like a bright orange. And red is the one I'm gonna use for these letters and stuff. So the hands and little bats are going to be just black. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get one of these sponges to cover this part here right now, and let's get it done. Everything is in place. Hey guys, good morning. So last night I finished the little project. Here it is. So I'm gonna be doing some staining on the back to protect the wood, of course, and everything. And then I wanna run on the edges to make it look nicer. But that's just me. Right now it has a clear coat of UV clear coat, so it will be protected if you're hanging outside your door. But here it is. It was a nice, fun, quick little project. Things that I like to do with this kind of projects is, number one, I don't want to overcomplicate. I know sometimes you want to make a bunch of different layers and things like that, and they look nice, but sometimes they bring more trouble. So you really want to try to layer your projects like this, probably like 1 or 2, 3 layers on a door hanger, because these already have a little bit of weight. So think that it's going to be wind, it's going to be rain, everything is going to be added to this. And at the end of the day, you don't want to have something that is going to be slamming on someone's door and scratching the door and damaging. So be mindful about that. Overall, this is a really nice project. You can do it for Halloween, you can do it for Christmas, you can do it for many things. But the most important part, like always, is you have fun doing it. You know, you can measure your profits, of course, on what you're going to sell. And this is a really nice project for me, because not only finally decide to use real wood for the backing instead cutting plywood. I usually cut 2 or 3 plywoods to make like a nice thick bottom, but I found the company, not just frames, and I got this backing, and like I was saying, it's hard wood, so it's even better than just gluing plywood and stuff like that. And overall, after I have that, I measure it, you know, make sure that my cut goes nicely. These ones go right to the edge, and just layer everything up, and came out really nice. So nice that there is a little bee that wants to land on my head. But yeah, a couple acrylic paints on top, just careful so you don't smush paint everywhere. I did have an issue when I was doing all this, because the centers of the RDO kind of fell through the honeycomb, so I gotta fetch for them and then put it by hand. So when I did that, peel pliers and kind of a glue on the back, put it on after everything was glued and finished, add those pieces, and I painted once they were here, because it was just a little touch up, and that way were easy to handle. But all is matter now is that I can put the little screws here for the hanger, and we are set. So this asked for one, here it is. So if you like what you guys see, you like the little things that I did on Lightburn and stuff like that, and probably any kind of a process that you saw something different and might help you, please give us a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, subscribe, help us to grow the channel. That help us to keep making projects for you. And as always, it's really early, but well, fire the laser.